Hello, welcome to another ramble. Um, I was thinking, I already made two videos, but I figure, hey, make a third one. This one is going to touch on rewiring, rewiring your brain to be more understanding versus expecting. And I think it's common knowledge that whenever we have expectations, we set ourselves up for disappointment. And this is absolutely true. I think if you've experienced this enough times, you will confirm that that is a fact. When you generate expectations, you set yourself up for disappointment. So many examples can be very minor ones, or it could be major ones. For instance, minor one, you expected it to be sunny today so you could go to the beach. Unfortunately, you can't control the weather, and the weather will deliver whatever it can in any moment. If things, if, how do I say, I don't necessarily think things, and this is not a well thought through thought, I don't necessarily think things work out in your favor. I think you maybe need to align your perspective with reality and accept it just as it is. Sorry, I'm having a hard time speaking. I feel like I'm still waking up and I'm still trying to get my words out. But yeah, so aligning your perception with reality, with what is realistically happening. I think that is possibly a key towards happiness. So yes, on a larger scale, an expectation could be projected upon a person. You expect a person to act a certain way, or treat you a certain way, or be a certain way, and you can't control the other person. They are going to be as they are, irregardless of how you want them to be. I mean, sometimes you can make requests, like say somebody is, I don't know, like you have a really good friend who, is doing something that you don't necessarily like. You could probably approach them and say, hey, I don't know if you're aware, but, you've been doing these things. It hurts my feelings. And then you give them the opportunity to like adjust or shift. And that is also their, how do I say it? Their choice. So, if they choose to change because they value the friendship or the connection, great. If they don't choose to change, then maybe you need to reassess whether or not this is something that you would like to continue to invest in. It's all about investments. Like, where you want to invest your time, energy, and attention. I feel like if something feels good, and I don't mean like, how do I say? I mean, there's a lot of things that can make you feel good, but it's not necessarily good for you. They're just kind of like temporary crutches. I don't mean that kind of good. I feel like if something brings you more peace and it feels lighter, it makes you feel lighter, then that's probably something that you want to invest your time in. Something organic, something that's not, superficial or artificial, whatever. What else was I gonna say? Jesus, I lost my train of thought. I always do that. I don't even know what I was talking about. Isn't that crazy? You know what happens, I think? I have an idea or a topic that I would like to specifically touch upon. But while I am talking about that topic, I get like downloads and streams from different angles that kind of like throw me off my mental, I don't know. Oh my gosh, I'm like majorly like messing this up. But oh yeah, understanding versus expectations. Yes, thank you. Let's get back onto the subject matter. So yeah, whenever something is happening in life and it's causing distress or it's triggering you, it's often because you had an expectation. Think about it. You generated an expectation on how you thought something should be, and it didn't align with what you thought. And so you create discomfort within yourself, you know, in the form of anger, irritation, sadness, depression, all of those things. And these things are not necessarily bad. They're just kind of like telltale signs that you're off balance, you're off kilter, and how do you get yourself back into balance? So my based off of like personal experience, I feel like shifting my perspective to a state of understanding versus expecting has done wonders. You know, so for instance, when I interact with people now, I don't really expect anything from them. I just kind of try to understand what they're bringing to the table. You know, so if somebody has like, I don't know, anger issues or something, instead of like, you know, being like, oh man, I wish they would stop being so like angry, or I wish they would stop being so negative. That's expectations, right? I'll just be like, okay, this person's obviously angry, and I wonder why that is. You know, and I shift the energy that I would normally invest in expecting into understanding. And once I do that, I give myself permission to view things as they are, you know? And the thing is, with expectations, you're expecting someone or something to generate something that they might not be able to, you know? Like, for instance, you know, we're expecting people to like be considerate and kind, or I used to, you know, I expected people to, you know, at least be respectful and kind and considerate, but the expectation sets you up, right? So instead of expecting, you just kind of like try to understand. Like if somebody comes to you and they're not being respectful or they're not being considerate, you go and shift expectation to understanding and go, okay, right now this person is not being considerate. I want to understand why. You know, and it could be an array of things that you may not have even considered because you're too busy expecting, you know? Like maybe the person wasn't brought up in an environment, you know, so they haven't been actively practicing certain behavioral things, or, you know, like, I don't know, like, yeah, their environment or the people that they grew up around, you know, maybe that prevented them from being able to generate consideration or patience or kindness, you know. A lot of people grew up in traumatic environments, you know, and some people are aware of it and they're also aware of how this has affected their character and their personality, but a lot of people are walking around, they have no idea, and they're just kind of perpetuating the cycle of their ancestors, you know. But like I said, if you shift your perspective from expecting to understanding, it helps you to navigate through life so much easier. It's for real. And I've been implementing this, I'm gonna say just recently, like implementing it more. Like, I've always been a curious and inquisitive person, so I've always wanted to understand things, but even more so now, like, because I've noticed there's a lot, I've been being triggered frequently, and it doesn't feel good, and I'm like, okay, well, why am I feeling triggered? It's because I have expectations. It's because I don't like how someone or something is, and instead of trying to understand it, I'm still, you're trying to get them to be how you want them to be, and you can't control anything. The only thing you can really control is your reactions and responses, because sometimes you can't even control what's going on in your body. I mean, maybe you could if you like reach a certain level of consciousness that I haven't reached yet, obviously, or else I'd be able to control my digestive system and like all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know if you'd want to anyway, because that's a lot of responsibility. I mean, your body's intelligent enough to like run itself. I think your responsibility is to make wise choices to give it clean energy and fuel so that it can properly function and assess things and move. Oh my God. Anyways, stop expecting, start understanding. And I feel like when you stop expecting, automatically judgment, criticism, sadness, and anger disappear, because you're not putting yourself in a place to generate such things. When you go into a space of understanding, I feel like that's when patience, tolerance, compassion, love, peace can be generated. It depends what you're investing in. Like, they have like this analogy about which wolf you feed. You can either feed the dark wolf or the light wolf. This is like the same concept, just using different words. So expectations is like the dark wolf, and then understanding is the light or the white wolf, Anyways, hey, I've been talking for 12 minutes and I have no idea if I made sense. And I'm sorry if I had brain farts in the middle of this video, but thank you for watching and thank you for being patient. If you learned something from this, cool. If you didn't, that's cool too. All right, have a great day and blessings to one and all. Amen.